Critical Role gets chaotic, a big shakeup in D&D, and a Dimension 20 West Coast tour. Welcome to the 5 for Friday, 5 big tabletop and related news stories to wrap up your week. This week we're talking about the latest Critical Role episode, a big Chris Perkins announcement, and Dimension 20's upcoming road tour. Now if you want to see more tabletop news on this channel, be sure to like and subscribe, and also comment on all our videos. Now, let's roll some dice.
Let's just do this.
Exandria could be coming to an end, so let's send some ships a-sailing. Last night's episode of Critical Role was chaotic in the most delightful way, with the cast switching back and forth between their Bells, Hells, and Mighty Nein characters, and constantly getting mixed up between the two. Matt, and probably all the fans as well, all enjoyed the nonsense, as Matt really didn't have to do very much throughout the episode. Now, some tidbits that we learned included that Caleb is a big fan of Chetney's work and even owns one of Chetney's 5 coveted wooden eggs. And we also learned that Breas worked at the Platinum Dragon Temple that Jester defaced. Now, Jester defiling that temple led to Breas getting excommunicated and basically getting his life ruined, so Jester had to do some quick thinking to not get dragged into a fight/murder.
He's a shell of a man.
The other big takeaway this episode was that Dorian and Orm finally got together at the end of the episode, bringing home the final ship of the season. However, it seems like Ford could be getting some cold feet as he blew off Jester about having a quick wedding ceremony before heading off on what could be their final mission ever. Because, you know, Exandria could get destroyed here in the coming weeks/months by Predathos. The 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide is Chris Perkins' last book as product lead. During this week's media preview push of the Dungeon Master's Guide, Chris Perkins revealed to Polygon that the DMG would be his last book as product lead. Although I made substantial contributions to the Monster Manual and the next D&D starter set, the Dungeon Master's Guide is the last official D&D book in which I'm credited as a product lead, Perkins said. Knowing that, I tried to stuff as much of my DM brain into that book as would fit. Whether that's a gift to the community or not, I'll let the users decide. Now, we did reach out to Wizards and learned that Perkins will be staying at the company as part of the D&D team, but he will be taking on a new role of some kind. We're working to find out more, so stay tuned. Dimension 20 is having another stadium tour. This week, Dropout announced that Dimension 20 will be heading to 3 West Coast locations in 2025. All 3 shows will feature the Intrepid Heroes crew, but they'll be returning to different characters for each show. The Bad Kids will be returning for one day only in Los Angeles, the Time Quangle will be heading to Seattle, and the Gunner Channel will be heading to Las Vegas. Now, all 3 shows are at major arenas like the Hollywood Bowl and Climate Pledge Arena, continuing Dimension 20's push for big shows at big venues. Now, tickets go on sale next Tuesday, that's October 22nd, with general on sales tickets going on sale starting next Friday. Mythic Games has not gone bankrupt yet, but we could learn the final fate of the beleaguered games company soon. For those of you who don't know, Mythic Games is the maker of Darkest Dungeon, the board game, and several other high-profile IP licensed games like that. Basically, what happened was a newspaper published a legal notice concerning the liquidation of one of Mythic's French subsidiaries, and that got passed around this week, and people thought that Mythic had gone under. Now, Board Game Wire did the legwork and learned that Mythic has not gone bankrupt yet, but that its owner and CEO expects to come to a final decision about whether it can keep the lights on by the end of this month. Now, for those of you who aren't aware of some of the backstory, Mythic raised massive amounts of money for some high-profile projects in recent years, including nearly $6 million for Darkest Dungeon. I was one of those backers. However, the company turned to backers twice for more money to finish production and shipping, with several projects, including Wave 2 of Darkest Dungeon, remaining totally unshipped, and we don't know if we'll ever get that product. It's one of the biggest Kickstarter fails in tabletop history, and it doesn't look too good for a possible resolution. And finally, it was a big week for tabletop RPG crowdfunding. The definitive edition of Ars Magica officially launched on BackerKit this week and has raised almost $500,000. Plus, the Kickstarter for the Discworld RPG also launched this week, and it surpassed $1.3 million, which is a major success, way more than what I thought that Kickstarter was going to do. Congratulations to Modifius there. Free League also announced that it would launch 2 new expansions for Vysen, including a new campaign book and a source book covering Mythic Carpathia, and that crowdfunding project will begin probably in the next couple of weeks. So congratulations to all the big launches and their respective creators this week. We love to see more money getting poured into lots of tabletop RPGs. So that's all the news that we have for you this week. Let us know what your favorite story was, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Above the Table.